Good evening, everyone. Can all of you hear me? If you can hear me, please type a yes in the chat window. Just a show of hands. Okay, so I can see many yeses here. Thank you so much. Right. So welcome to this webinar on why you should study in Australia. I'm very happy to introduce Ms. Kajri and Ms. Jayashree, who are senior recruitment advisors at University of Sydney. So I will ask them to start their presentation, and followed by the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, and we will open the floor to Q&A session. So while they are presenting, probably you can just hold on to your questions. And once we open the session, then you can type in your questions in the chat window. Thank you. Over to Kajri and Jayashree.
Thank you, Shivani. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking out time on a Saturday evening and attending our webinar. We have a short presentation on Australia as a destination, as to why you should look at Australia as a country to study. Please bear with me. I'll share the screen. And like Shivani said, if you have questions, I'm sure you will have questions. You can ask us as we do the presentation, or you could ask us after we finish our presentation. Okay. Right. So, the one question which comes into everybody's mind is, so why study in Australia when you have US and UK? But, Australia basically is the third most popular country when it comes to international education. So if you were to look at the few countries which are most popular, Australia is third. Australia has a very small population when compared to India, just about 25 million. So, it's equal to how big Mumbai is. But having said that, this country of small population has some 1,100 higher education institutions and offers some 22,000 different types of courses. Amongst universities, so there are about 43 universities in Australia. Most of them are public research-based universities. There are a couple of private universities as well. Most of the universities are very, very highly ranked when it comes to the kind of education they impart. In fact, if you were to look at some of the top universities in Australia, you will see that the likes of Sydney, Melbourne, Queensland, they come in the top world 100. In fact, University of Sydney, which Jayashree and I both represent, ranks world number 40 in the QS World Ranking 2021. So Australia has some very, very high-ranking universities. Now, it may not be, that our universities are very old. Having said that, Sydney is the first university of Australia, and we are 170 years old. But we don't have universities like McGill, which is 500 years old. But in terms of quality, it's very, very high. Also, I think one of the most important aspect of Australia is 30% of Australians are, born outside of Australia. So which means the society is very cosmopolitan. And that is great because as a student, when you go inside a country which is, so cosmopolitan, so diverse, you actually thrive. Also, Australia, I think, has the bestest cities in the world. These are, not something that which has come from Australia. If you look at the world statistics, whether it is Sydney or Melbourne or any other city, it's one of the bestest cities to live and study and work in. In terms of the kind of education infrastructure Australia offers, it's the kind of scholarships it offers. The government, I think, gives out anything between $280 million to $300 million every year to international students in terms of scholarships, whether it is for research, whether it's for postgraduate coursework. So, the opportunities are immense. Also, the fact that so many students actually study in Australia, I'm given to understand easily about 700,000 students come to Australia at any given point of time every year to study in the higher education institutions. So you can imagine millions of students actually stay back and work. At present, there are about 2.5 million alumni, international alumni. I mean, our university, Sydney itself, has some 300,000 international alumni, of which a sizable 25% are international. So that's primarily the the best parts of studying in Australia. So it is actually second to none when it comes to infrastructure. In terms of popularity with Indians, we are still number 3 probably. It is one of those destinations that you should seriously consider while looking at studying abroad. So in terms of which are those courses which are very popular, your guess is probably right. Of all these things that you see here, the most popular ones are business, engineering and IT, also sciences and arts and social sciences. Having said that, medicine health is also very, very popular alongside law, architecture, and so on. Now, remember, this is not something that, this is something that is covered by Sydney and most of other large universities. Not every institution will have every course that is outlined here. Also, there are specialized organizations and institutions, or for that matter, further education institutions, which have vocationally oriented pathway programs. So there are multiple options for you to look into while you are seeking to do courses in Australia. In terms of timelines, this is a timeline that is specific to Sydney, but Australia basically works in this timeline. So there are 2 semesters. Most universities have 2 semesters. Some of them may have a third. But bulk of the universities have 2 semesters. First semester is in February and the second semester is July or August. Okay, so there are 2 semesters. Typically, they go on for about 13 weeks or so. And then there is an exam and holiday and second semester starts. Now, as a student, what does this semester mean to you? It means that you basically should look at semesters as intakes. Okay, so as a university, we have 2 intakes. Like many other universities in Australia, there are 2 opportunities for you to apply into any program. Okay, so it could be either February, or if you want to apply into any Australian university, you could also look at July or August. Now, how do you apply? Typically, as an international student, applications actually, happen in 2 ways. You could, if you are, don't look at it. So I have written high school exams, but even if you are in your, let's say your undergraduate program and you're aiming for post-graduation, even if you have not completed your final exams and you're waiting for your graduation, you can still apply with predicted grades. Okay, now with predicted grades, the universities basically look at predicted grades to see if you meet the entry requirements. If you do meet the entry requirements, then basically you get a conditional offer letter from the universities. The other option is that, let's say you have already graduated, you have your final exam certificates and transcripts with you, you have all other conditions are being met, and then you apply and you meet the requirements for the program, you get an unconditional offer letter from the university. All of these processes typically can take between 2 to 3 weeks. Universities usually take this kind of time while processing applications, so please bear this in mind while you're applying to any Australian university. Application dates usually, vary with universities, but typically, universities open up application 12 to 18 months prior to commencement. Okay, so which means that if you wish to start a course in 2021, whether it is February or August, you can pretty much start your application right now because all the programs are open for application. Okay, applications also close 4 to 5 weeks before the course start. All right, so if you were to look at the February intake, it will end in January, as in all formalities end in January. And if you were to look at the July intake or August intake, typically it ends in about June. All right, so you have to bear in mind that there is a certain timeline that is followed. And so you have to prepare well in advance when you are applying. All right, so because international education does require a lot of preparation, so whenever you start, do keep these timelines in mind when you're applying to a university. Now, accommodation is one thing which always comes to your mind. Everybody thinks, oh, where am I going to stay? Will the universities offer me accommodation and so on? Now, all universities and higher education institutions have a range of accommodation options, okay, no matter where you are studying in Australia. Now, you should remember that there are ranges. So, accommodation in a city like Sydney can go from $200 to $600 a week, depending on what you choose, what, luxuries you choose or what facilities you choose. Your lifestyle basically will decide how much you spend. But if you were to look at a basic spending, you should budget for about $200 a week towards accommodation expenses in any big city in Australia. If you were to look at smaller cities or towns, or maybe tier 2 city or town, you can budget for about $150 to $180 a week. Okay, in terms of what options are there, you have university residences, residential colleges, independently run housing, which operate within university campuses. And of course, there are hundreds and thousands of accredited private residences that are available in the fringe of the university outside the campuses, which you can avail, and universities and higher education providers actually help you get access to those listings. In terms of scholarships and fundings, basically you have to look at every university's unique scholarships. So universities have their own scholarships. Sydney, for instance, offers 300 different types of scholarships to international students. So you have to look at the university's faculties. Every faculty has a different scholarship. Sometimes there are sports related scholarships. Sometimes there are, local scholarships like, residencies or colleges offer scholarships. And then there are, Indian government, for instance, the bilateral scholarships are available, all of which have to be researched. You'll have to check your eligibility. Scholarships, again, don't come out and go at the same time. So, they are rolling in the sense what is available now may not be available next month or so. So you'll have to check what is available, where, and so on. Australia Awards is a bilateral scholarship. You can check out their website. They have many, many scholarships available, mostly in the postgraduate coursework and research area. And these scholarships are given out well in advance. So if you're aiming at a 2021 program, then you should look at this now because the applications close nearly a year in advance. Okay. So basically you have to look at the university website and Australia Awards to see where you fit in and what kind of scholarships would be available for you. So in terms of what is the process, so we have spoken so much about timelines, when should you do what, but you should remember that when you are applying to any university in Australia, there are these 8 things that you really, really have to bear in mind, whether you are doing a postgraduate course or a pathway program, or for that matter, an undergraduate program. the first step of obviously is apply for a course. The second step will be that, those 2 to 4 months, 4 weeks timeline that we spend in, formalizing your offer, etc. Then you actually get an offer letter, and then you formally have to accept that conditional offer letter. Now, there could be people, young people from out of school who could be less than 18 years of age. If that is the case, then there's an extra process where you have to make your welfare arrangement. And but bulk of the students actually don't require this. But if you do, then there are help available to make this arrangement, where you basically have to provide for a local guardian. The fourth step is, of course, paying the fee of the university. The fifth is, once you have paid your fee and all your formalities are completed, then you get the ECOE, which is the Electronic Confirmation of Enrollment from the university. Taking that, you basically go and apply for the student visa with the Australian Department of Immigration and Border Protection. Then you enroll for your units of study at the university. You arrive in time for your orientation and you start your classes. So all these 8 steps that you take can take anything between 6 to 8 months, okay, for the entire process, minimum time, all right? So you have to basically start planning in advance, and remember that none of these processes can be short-circuited because they take their due time. So please plan in advance when you are planning to apply to a university outside of India and as well as in Australia. Now, this is a question which probably lingers in everybody's mind. How can you support yourself when you are living and studying in Australia? So Australia actually is one of those countries which has very, very progressive student, focused work rights. The country allows students to work for 20 hours a week when the classes are on. These are, part-time jobs that you take up in and around where you study and live. And when you are on vacation, when the university is on vacation, then you can work for 40 hours, just like a full-time employee. And in terms of how much you can aim to earn, your minimum pay, as said by the Australian government, will have to be about $19.20. So that's the bare minimum. Employers like universities actually pay much higher than the minimum wage. But the minimum that you should look at is about $20 an hour. Okay, so most students, when they go to study in Australia, do work because, to keep their body and soul together. So there are lots of lucrative opportunities in and around university campuses. Universities themselves help. For instance, Sydney has a very, very well-networked, arrangement where it helps students find these kind of opportunities in and around the campus. And lots of students actually find their employment around the campus while they are studying. Okay, then. So I think that is all from our side. These are our contacts. I will be happy to share them on chat. I'll stop sharing my screen now. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. So please tell us what they are.
Okay, thanks Kajri for this detailed presentation. So I will now open the floor to questions. So whatever questions you have, you can just type in the Q&A or the chat window. Let's start with taking some of the questions. So, okay, some students have asked about where can they get admission without the SAT score. So probably you can also throw some light on the requirements for undergrad in University of Sydney.
Sure. So undergraduate programs, we offer close to 250 different courses that students can opt to study at University of Sydney. So undergraduate program entry requirement is class 12 qualification. So for student doesn't require to do a SAT examination as a prerequisite. So we will consider the 12th requirements and also So English language test requirements. And if the student doesn't meet the criteria, if the 12th exam results are less, they can compensate by submitting a SAT score. However, it's not mandatory. If the student meets the entry requirement to study at the university directly, then it's not a requirement to do the SAT.
Okay. Then there are some questions. Yeah, so there are some questions around post-study work permit and PR in Australia.
Okay. So, yes, so post-study work opportunity is basically an extension of visa given to students who come in and study. So as per the Australian High Commission requirement, the student has to do a course which is for 2 years and above in duration. So a master's degree which is for 2 years and above, or undergraduate degree any which ways is for 3 to 4 years duration. All these students will qualify for post-study work visa, where they will get an extension by 2 years duration. So for Sydney, which is not a rural campus, we get students avail 2 years of post-study work visa. So I'll just take the questions one by one from the chat option. Is that fine, Shivani?
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I have answered a couple of questions. I think do we need IELTS or Toefl for studying in Australia? So that asks that question. Yes, there is a prerequisite to take up an English language test. It is not qualified as a native English speaking country. However, if you've studied A levels or B, you can avail from the same. But we will accept IELTS, Toefl, or Pearson test of English, any of these following tests. Any kind of placement kind of a thing in business schools after MBA. So the concept of placements is different in India and overseas. There is assistance given, there are job fairs, there are career fairs, which is available and open to all students, whether you're studying a bachelor's, master's, or a research degree. Presently, all our bachelor's program offer an internship option. So the course has an embedded internship opportunity. Postgraduate programs all have a capstone project, and majority of the courses, so close to 80 to 85% of programs have internship option. However, because University of Sydney is ranked first in Australia and fourth in the world for graduate employability rate, apart from the overall ranking where we shine, quite high, you can look in for excellent placement opportunities. I'd like to throw light on one such thing that our business school offers. Any student who's wanting to study at our business school can undertake a graduate employability services program called as Job Smart. So apart from the course, they can undergo and do a virtual consulting project or an industry-based consulting project, and undergo also a 12-week of internship. This is apart from the program where the faculty gives in students a lot of hands-on experience for them to get more understanding about the job market. That is why we've been able to be ranked so high for graduate employability. For MBA program, the MBA course is only held from Monday to Thursday, and every Friday is a career services day where the student has an attached career services person who will assist them with placement opportunity. So the next question is, I've completed my graduation, so what's the next step for me? Students who are interested in applying for 2021 intake, we have 2 sessions, which is starting in February or in August. 3rd week of February or 1st week of August is when we begin, and you can look in forward to start your application process. For both the sessions for 2021 intake, the admissions are open. So you can shortlist your course, check whether you meet the entry criteria, and get started with the application. Please explain welfare arrangement. Which welfare arrangement are you referring to, Mansi? I'm not too sure.
So I think it is for people with less than 18 years of age, as Kaji mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, under 18 criteria.
Yes.
So you will need an under 18 undertaking to be done. So university will assist you with the same. So if a student is under 18, as per the law, you need to have a local guardian, which the university will assist you with for. So it's a very simple process. It's not too complicated. You just need a local guardian to sign up for the same. Can we apply for a master's degree directly? Yes, Tanvi, as long as you meet the entry criteria. All master's degree required a bachelor's degree. So if you are from, say, Mumbai University, Pune University, Delhi, or IP, and those range of city-based universities, all of them require up to a 65 to 70% for a master's course. If you're from a private deemed university, say like DAR, or most of the autonomous deemed university, they all require a higher percent, which would ideally be like 75% and above. But majority of the universities from India, we require students to come in with a 65 to 70% in their bachelor's degree, and not more than 4 backlogs in your bachelor's. That's the prerequisite. So it's if you have more than 4 backlogs, then the university will not accept. They will not reject you, but they will downgrade the offer. Say, for example, if you're not eligible to meet the admissions for the undergraduate course, you can do the SAT. Likewise, for business programs, if you don't meet the requirement, you can submit a Gmat score as well. And if you're looking for any other courses apart from business, they will downgrade to a graduate diploma, like our foundation courses. A graduate diploma leading to a master's degree will be given. So you can apply directly for a master's degree as well. Which would be a better course to study in Australia in terms of employment? If you're looking at the University of Sydney, we offer both the courses. We offer a Masters of Data Science, and we also offer a Masters in IT with data and business analytics embedded together. Both of these have excellent job scope. One of the reasons being is that data science or business analytics have excellent job opportunities where you can apply in a wide range of industries, be predominantly finance or banking and corporate industry. And Sydney being the financial capital, you have some good job scope to look in for. I'll share one of my experience. Kajri and I were there on the campus from February to March, and so in the month of March, we attended a career fair organized by the Faculty of Engineering at University of Sydney. So this was a smaller career fair, had around 120 companies coming in, and in that career fair, there were a majority of the come to employ graduates were from IT industry. So I'm putting in the broader umbrella of IT here, and a lot of them were looking at interns. So if you would have completed first year of masters, you can still go and give those interviews for being employed as an intern with leading IT or consulting or financial companies. Both of them, a data scientist or a business analyst, very good scope of opportunities. Do students get internship opportunities during the study period? Yes, Prachi. Majority of our courses have an embedded internship in the course program, in the master's or the bachelor's level program. So you will get an opportunity to take up internship. However, there are also capstone projects which you can do with the industry. And there are careers and employability services, sessions that is conducted by the faculty to engage with industry, to understand or gain a broader understanding of the industry knowledge. Nishant, I've already answered the question. The tuition fee range for masters depends on the course. It could range between 38,000 Australian dollars. And go up till 51,000 Australian dollars as well. What is the eligibility for a work permit? It does. So yes, Australia does offer quite a lot of programs which are for 1 year, 1.5 year duration as well. So those students technically don't qualify for a post-study work visa because they get an extension on their visa by say a couple of weeks or maximum maybe a couple of months only. It is at the discretion of the visa officer, but they wouldn't get a equivalent course duration stay back opportunity. However, if I have to talk about our MBA program or a Masters of Management program, which is less than like 15 months or 18 months duration, our students have been eligible and have been able to secure in the course duration. So that is how it works with a university of world-class, ranking and world-class standard. You will not find it difficult to get in a job as long as you qualify to study with a high-ranked university like Sydney and do well in the program. The world is your oyster for you to consider opportunities for job. Prachi, predominantly internships are unpaid, but some internships can be paid. It's at the discretion of you and the employer. And how well do you perform in the first year of the course that will entitle for, opportunities for internships or paid internships as well. But I've seen a lot of internships, translating into job opportunities as well. That is something that you can look for. Tejinder, we do offer scholarships on the basis of sports. You can go and check on our general scholarship details. There is sports-based scholarship available. Sydney is a house of a major amount of sporting facilities. We have close to 4 ovals on campus, and students can engage in a number of sporting activities. I would also like to add here that it's not all about all study and no play at University of Sydney. You might feel that this old in university or it's it's the first university of Australia, it isn't too modern enough or is not coping up with what requirements is, but that's not the true. Majority of our programs are co-designed with industry. All of them have internship opportunities, and that's why we ranked first in Australia and fourth in the world for graduate employability. However, you have access to a lot of sporting facilities and clubs and societies as well. So university has a range of clubs and societies that you can participate in. There is an Indian club called Ekansh. There is clubs where you can use to explore your passion towards some area, art or theater or drama or dance or wine. Or there are also clubs and societies where you can look forward to some fun activities as well. So entry requirement for Masters of Professional Accounting is the same that I mentioned earlier, 65% if you are from a Section 1 or Section 2 university, and any deemed or autonomous university usually asks for 65% and above. Thank you so much, Ishant. Sharvari, you have asked that some universities offer a dual degree postgraduate program. Are they worth it? It depends on what you're studying, Sharvari. Like we offer dual degrees in IT and IT management. That has been co-designed along with the industry, and this has been really very popular, not only from the students' perspective, but especially from the employers' perspective. Architecture programs we offer a couple of our business program we offer dual specialization. So there are some dual degrees, there are some dual specializations offered, and all of this offered keeping in mind the employability perspective. So Kushagra, your question is what options are open for students to do MIM in Australia? If you're talking about Masters in Management in predominantly all universities in Australia is a general management degree open to students from a non-business background. And so it's a general management, so a student from engineering, science or any other non-business degree can come in and apply. And we don't require a Gmat. It will only be asked for if you don't meet the criteria. So we need a 65 to 70% marks, not more than 3 fails. Study. Shirley, you have a question again. Is Masters of Human Resource Management a good course to study in Australia? How are the job opportunities? So human resource is more of a functional area applied in almost all industries. That's why at a master's level, we have two courses of commerce, which doesn't have an HR specialization, but every specialization that you choose has a little bit of human resource based module towards attached to it. And we offer a human resource and industry relations program. Technically speaking, the demand for human resource professions as per the skilled occupation list is declining. So that's why courses are also modeled accordingly. Charu, you can take either the IELTS, Toefl, or Pearson test of English. All 3 forms of tests are acceptable. Is GMAT required for PG courses? No, it's not a prerequisite. For us, for the Masters of Business degree, if you don't meet the admission criteria, you can do a GMAT to compensate. For MBA programs, yes, most of the universities require a GMAT score. But unlike the US, GMAT is not a prerequisite. Minimum Toefl score is 85, which equates to 6.5 in IELTS with no band less than 6. Toefl is held in which cities? You will have to go to the ETS website to check that, where all are the Toefl test centers available. But I think there should not be any restriction in taking Toefl test in any part of India for now. Now, maybe because of COVID situation, there's been a little bit of restriction, but usually it's conducted in all major cities, which is better. Kavneet, it depends on your priority. What is that you want to study? Say, for example, if I compare a BCom graduate in India to a BCom graduate in Australia, the job prospects and the type of salaries that they start with in Australia will be at least, 8 to 10 times higher than what an Indian BCom graduate, not even 10 times, maybe more than that as compared to how much an Indian BCom graduate will start with. So it's as per your priority and your budget, requirement that you can decide whether you want to do an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree. Approximate total cost, tuition fee ranges between 38 to 50,000 Australian dollars. Living expenses approximately close to 12 lakhs for a year. But in a city like Sydney, you can spend between 10 to 12 lakhs. Cost of living in Sydney is high, so as is, say, in New York, London, or Paris is. But the standard of living is also high, which means that if I Sydney, or I graduate from, say, another city like a Melbourne or Adelaide or Perth, or even Canberra, the salaries will be higher in Sydney because the standard of living is also higher. And opportunities for jobs is much more broader because Sydney is like the financial capital, economical capital. You have much more amount of industries available as compared to a regional campus in Australia where the industry base is close to next. So approximate cost is done. What is the best for? GRE is not, required by any universities in Australia. GMAT can be a preference if you're looking at MBA, but not GRE. How much average money is needed for undergraduate program? Fees ranges between 35 to 45 or 50,000 Australian dollars. So I'll take a range of, say, 35, 36 to 50,000 Australian dollars. That would be roughly like 18 to 25 lakhs for a year. That's a tuition fee. Requirement for MBA in Sydney is 3 years of work experience, along with your academic requirement and English language requirement. If your profile is a borderline, they might ask you to do the GMAT. That depends on your performance in the interview as well. Is IELTS enough to get seat in engineering with scholarship and minimum score required for it? Majority of our master's program require a 7 in IELTS with no band less than 6. Some courses need a 7 in IELTS with each section not less than 7. Those are like health science programs. And some programs are fine with a 6.5 with no band less than 6 in IELTS. So it's your academic performance in your bachelor's degree aggregate of that, along with English language test, which will be considered. Are there 1-year MBA courses? We offer 18 months MBA and require you to come in with 3 years of work experience at a team leading or supervisory level. Average work experience in the MBA class at University of Sydney is 5 to 6 years, and average age is 31 to 33. Our MBA focuses on enterprise and leadership, and it offers basically an experiential style of teaching for MBA programs. So experiential style means it's more of a boardroom style teaching, where students from similar range of work experience sit and study together. So for any research-based degrees, whether it is an undergrad, a PhD or an MPhil qualification, we require students to have to approach the faculty first. You can search for Research Supervisor Connect at University of Sydney. It will take you to a landing page on the website of the university, which has two interesting things. One is a protocol. What do you need before you approach the faculty? You need a research proposal, and for the research proposal, obviously we need you to have some research experience, which can be publication internationally or domestically as well. IELTS score is not mandatory when you apply or approach the professor. You can take the test later on as well. So Research Supervisor Connect has two things. One is that they have outlined how do you approach a faculty, and two is that there is a there is a search engine available there where you can go and see the type of as per your research interest, you can go and check which all faculty is doing a research on the particular area. I'm an architect student seeking admission. So architecture at University of Sydney is one of the most popular courses. So our faculty of architecture, design, and the largest faculty on campus, and we offer a variety of programs. We offer a Masters of Architecture, Masters of Architectural Science, Masters of Urbanism. All these are studio-based learning courses. And apart from Masters of Architecture, which is a general architecture program, Architecture Science and Urbanism has a specialization, which can be urban design, urban planning, heritage conservation, or high performance design, sustainable architecture, audio acoustics, and illumination design. So these are the different specializations available. And architecture programs don't have faculty-based scholarship. You can look in for the scholarship which is available for international students, like the Vice Chancellor International Scholarship Scheme or Sydney Scholars India Scholarship. SAT is not required. If you have not met the entry requirement of the university, then you'll have to do the SAT examination. So 12th results is the most important criteria. SAT is not mandatory. Say for example, the Bachelor of Law degree is a dual degree, Bachelor of Arts with Bachelor of Law, and that requires you to come in with a 96% in 12. If you have not met that, but if you've got a good SAT score, you can be compensated. So every course has its own SAT requirement, SAT or ACT. However, the essay component is mandatory to be attempted. Gmat requirement is 630 percentage for bachelor's degree. Ankit, it depends on what bachelor's degree are you looking for. It could range between, it can start with say 80% for liberal arts courses, 80-82%, and going up to even 97-98%. So 85 to 90 is the usual engineering and all those requirements, economics. Apart from that, 92 to 95 is a requirement for computing and architecture and social, Bachelor of Commerce and so on. 12 admissions for bachelor's degree is on the basis of class 12 results and English language test. If the class 12 results are less, then you will have to do the the SAT score can be submitted. Requirement for scholarship is totally merit based, academic merit based. Some scholarships have an essays to be written, so that will be academic merit plus essay responses. But the academic merit is the primary criteria. Dual degree, Sharvari, I think you've asked this question earlier also. Dual degree totally depends on what you're planning to study. If I have to tell you about the dual degree that we offer, Masters of IT with IT Management, this was changed, or this was two courses were merged together after having a constant feedback from the industry that IT graduates don't have just have technical knowledge, they lag in techno management skills or management skills. That's why we merged the course and got it together, and ever since then our graduates have been very highly placed. So it depends on what are you trying to study. The work experience requirement is 3 years and above at some team leading or supervisory level. Yes, we need a 65% and above and not more than 4 backlogs. So you can probably look at some other university. Sharvari, I have already answered the human resource question, so I'm skipping that again. What about NEET exams? There is no NEET exam for medicals required. For medical courses in Australia, it's a graduate level entry. So you need to do a BSc leading to a master a doctor of medicine, which is a 7-year program. And that will be on the basis of your 12th marks and English language proficiency in your interview. There is no any other exam required. Entry requirement for Masters of Professional Accounting would be a bachelor's degree with 65 to 70% depending on the university, or 75% for some universities. At the end, what we'll do is we'll leave our contact details. So if you have any particular queries, you can always feel free to reach out to Kajri and me. Is full fee waiver available for bachelor's degree? Yes, we offer 2 full fee scholarships, 100% scholarships for undergraduate students, and it's very much available. So undergraduate students can look in for a scholarship of, say, starting from even 5,000 Australian dollars, 6,000, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, or full fee scholarship is also available. So someone doing A level, is there any advantage or disadvantage? There is no advantage or disadvantage if you're doing, irrespective of whichever board. I don't know, I'm not too sure of the name of the person who's asked. Yeah, so anyone who qualifies to study with the university, they will be considered. We look at academics and English proficiency only. For scholarships, they will look at your profile, but for admissions, it's only academics. And there's no advantage or disadvantage if you're from A levels or IB or CBSE, ISC, state board. We have a prerequisite for different types of courses. Kajri, I think, has covered a lot of details on scholarship. We have general requirement of scholarship is academic merit. There we do not offer a specialized MBA. We have a general MBA which focuses on enterprise and leadership, and I've already covered the entry requirement for the same. Vidushi, you can write an email to us to help you guide with the further process for admissions. Shashank, there is no course like MBA plus data science. We offer a Master of Data Science, or we offer a Master's in IT with IT Management. And under Information Technology, we have a Data Analytics specialization. So we offer a Bachelor's of Advanced Computing, or we offer a Bachelor's in Engineering Honors with Software Engineering. And both of these are 4 years program. The tuition fee is approximately Australian dollars for a year, and living expense for a year would range between 10 to 12 Australian dollars. We offer a Masters of Commerce, with a specialization in marketing, and the subjects in the marketing elective is really very interesting. So you can, depending on what your focus of area is, whether you want to get into marketing in terms of media communication or you want to get into sales, you have a range of courses available to choose as an elective. And the 2-year Master of Commerce gives you a 2-year stay back option. If you perform very well in the first year of Masters, that is, if you get 60% and above, you can take up an internship in the second year of study. Math is not a prerequisite, Kavneet. We have already covered post-study work. You get 2 years if you study a 2 years program. Any course that you study for 2 years and above duration, you get a 2 years of a stay back option. Requirement for scholarship is the same, academic merit. There is no GRE requirement at all at any Australian university, whether it's Sydney or any other university. Masters of Management don't require work experience. MBA requires 3 years and above. Your academic merit will guarantee the percentage of scholarship, whether you want a 5% scholarship or a 100% scholarship. Kavita, I'm not too sure what is your query because I can't read your query. It just says answer my question. Shridatha, yes, if you get a lesser score in 12th, but your SAT score is good, we consider that. Average salary for a person studying at University of Sydney for Masters of Management, MBA salaries are very different, higher, because those are the students or candidates who come in with work experience. And Masters of Management salaries, you can go on to this official job search engine for Australia called as seek.com, where you can type the course, the position opening name and look at range of salaries. But on an average, if you have completed your bachelor's, you can start with 35 to 40,000 Australian dollars as a minimum salary. Go up to even 60,000 Australian dollars. If you're looking at a master's, you can start with 45 to 50,000 Australian dollars of average salary, going up to even 100,000 Australian dollars, depending on the background that you have. Gmat score requirement is 630. We do not accept distance education. There is no enough percentage for a scholarship. It depends on the as such. So you will be ranked within the applicant pool. So I can't guarantee you, whether with a 95% you will get a scholarship or no. Our entry requirement is 65% and above for master's level requirement. Undergraduate courses have a very good combination. We offer something called as major minor system. So you study a major on the core area of the course, like a science BSc student can do a science-based major or minor, art students can do humanities, social science-based major minor, and then you can or a second major or minor from the shared pool. So shared pool basically has 300 plus interdisciplinary subjects listed, and you can choose between the same. Is there a dual degree with engineering and BCA? Engineering does come with a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Commerce or Bachelor of Arts. So in the Bachelor of Science, you can choose computers as an option, which will be very much available. Saransh, we offer a Masters of IT with a specialization in cybersecurity. So you can check Masters of IT and the course modules, but none of the universities offers a Masters in blockchain or DLT, because that's like a very, very niche subject to be offered for a 2-year Masters, but you can check for these subjects as elective offerings. We will share the email ID. Kashri, if you can just put in the email ID, both our email IDs, please.
Yes, I'm putting it on the chat.
Yeah, thank you. What certification courses will help us with part-time jobs? I'm not too sure if there are any certification courses which will do, but yes, if you want to develop on certain skills, some soft skills and all, that will certainly assist you in the long run, especially in a Western country job environment. SAT score depends on course to course. Minimum requirement is 1380 and above, or 1350. It depends on course to course. So do a Masters of Architecture if you are from a Section 1 or Section 2 university, like a Delhi University, Mumbai, Pune, Anna University, Vishweshwaraya, or most of the government-run universities, we need a 65% and also a portfolio. Whereas all deemed universities, we need a 70%. So SAT score, Kavita, it depends on course to course and total cost for an undergraduate program, depending on what you are looking at. You can consider the fees to range between 35 to 50,000 Australian dollars, which is 18 to 25 lakh rupees, and living expenses 10 to 12 lakh rupees. That's I've answered your question. And is there a separate course for Masters in Marketing and Communication? So, Madhu, we used to offer courses which had, different specializations. So, Masters of Finance, Masters of Marketing, but then the industry feedback were not too great. So then we redesigned our Masters of Commerce program along with the industry. So the industry requirement was to have a objective course with a specialized approach. That is why we offered Masters of Commerce, which comes in with 8 specializations. So there is data analytics, there is digital business, accounting, finance, logistics, economics, and strategy and innovation. So keeping the industry feedback in mind, because eventually your course has to fetch you a job. We then tweaked our course a bit to make it as per the market requirement. For mechanical engineering, so for A levels, we're looking at 14 points. So if you can just send us an email, we can write back what is the grading scale that we refer to. So we need a 14 points, which would be basis on your AS and A level grades. Priya, we offer Masters of Biomedical Engineering. So it's called Masters of Professional Engineering with a specialization in biomedical engineering. So Master of Professional Engineering is accredited by Engineers Australia and Washington Accord. So it makes us the highest level of accredited master's degree in Australia. That course is a 2-year master's program, which considers your degree marks and your English language proficiency marks. And one of the best aspects about the course is a 12-week internship incorporated in the program, which would be which would be a part of the course curriculum. So the faculty will assist you in gaining the same. Criteria agenda for 100% scholarship, academic merit and essays. So you can check on Sydney Scholars India Scholarship for more detailed information on the same. Kavita, I mentioned yearly expenses. So 35 to 50,000 Australian dollars can be the tuition fee for a year, and living expenses 10 to 12 lakhs. So tuition fee in Indian rupees can be 18 to 25 lakhs and living expense of 10 to 12 lakhs. However, a student can do a part-time job while they study at University of Sydney to take care of their expenses as well. I am just going through the questions in Q&A, and if there is any question that I missed or any not a similar question that I've answered, then I will take that up. If you are an American citizen but you're studying in India, I It will not be mandatory to do because your education system, I mean, you will be assessed on the basis of your Indian education. So that will not be a criteria. For any master's degree, it's the CGPA which will be considered, not the work experience, because any coursework master's doesn't require work experience as a prerequisite. MBAs does have scholarship opportunity, but there is no 100% scholarship available for MBA. Admissions opened a good 12 to 18 months prior. So ideally 12 months before the course start date, whether you're looking at August or February, 12 months before that will be an ideal time for you to come in and put in an application. Gmat is not mandatory for our MBA, but yes, if you have good work experience, you will not be required to do so. If you're looking at a GPA system of calculation, we will consider a 3.2 and above for entrance. That's what our criteria is. A master's degree in finance doesn't require students to come in with work experience or with any relevant background in finance or something is required. So you can apply for a Master of Commerce with a specialization in finance. That will be very considered with an engineering degree as long as you have 65% to 70% marks. Do you offer a BTech in artificial intelligence or data science? We offer a Bachelor's of Advanced Computing, which offers these areas. And in which ways our bachelor's degrees also have the Bachelor of Engineering also has IT-based subjects that you can study. Apart from that, you can study mechatronics as well, which is focused. If you're looking at AI with robotics focus, you can look in for that. University of Sydney is a public government or state-run university. It is Australia's first university. We do not offer any integrated BBA, MBA program. It's only a standalone bachelor's qualification. In Australian dollars, if you're looking at a bachelor's degree, the fees can range between 36 to 50,000 Australian dollars, and living expense can be 21 to 22,000 Australian dollars. This is for a year. Masters of Information Technology students can look in for external internship. The course just has capstone projects to complete, but if a student has done 1 year of internships with the help of the faculty or the job fairs. The entry requirement for bachelor's and master's program is academic along with English language, no other particular requirement. Rajat, you'll have to go and check on the Melbourne University website, the University of Melbourne website. If you do a course which is less than 2 years duration, there is no job search visa available. But considering that you're studying a course like MBA from a top class university, I don't think you will need a job search visa. Your networking skills and what you study will help you to go places as well. The Masters of Management at University of Sydney is really very popular from the perspective of placements, from the perspective of learning experience, and also the fact that the course has a number of seats that they will take in. So it's pretty competitive to get through the programs. Nirupama, you can look in for a Bachelor's of Science, and you can choose environmental science as a major or a minor depending on your interest. For any scholarship related details, you can send us an email to study that, to get in more detailed information. And we do not offer a master's biotechnology course. So we do not have a biotechnology course offering at master's level as well. I think
Yeah, I think we have covered
we
most.
covered most of the questions because a lot of them are repetitive. And we have left our contact details as well. So if you have any queries, you can always, take that up with us. Uh,
I see we have a lot of questions coming up for MBA. I just, with the permission of the uh, panelists here, I would like to put up a web link for a certain webinars that we are coming up with in September and August, which is specifically targeted at MBA students. Also, because I saw many questions coming on MBA. So there's a link on the chat, guys. If you're interested, you have the time to spare, do attend one of these webinars. The other thing that I wanted to actually share was the international guide, because this document will actually give you all the information that you're asking, at least from Sydney's perspective. Obviously, if you're interested in another university, you will have to please check their website. But if it is Sydney, then this link that I've just shared, if you can download that or maybe open it in your browser, all our course details for 2021 is given there. Because majority of the questions are coming around MBA, I thought, I should put up this link for masters. And yeah, thank you, Jayashree, for putting up the contacts there. I think, fantastic. You've been a great audience, so many questions. I don't know if we have managed to answer everything. Apologies if we haven't, because, time, we are running out of time here. I'm conscious of time. But then if there are questions, we would absolutely welcome your email, your phone calls, WhatsApp, whatever works for you. Please reach out to us. And also, just let us know what is it that you would like to know about studying in Australia.
Right. So thank you. Jeshri, I think you are on.
I'll just take a last few questions because there is something that has come up. So Saransh asked that will universities allow international students to study on campus? So this intake, which is fall or August 2020, is offered remotely or online. Once the borders open, student will be able to travel and do face-to-face learning. But because the situation of COVID is so unpredictable, we're not too sure if Indians will be allowed to travel or when the borders open. So I think we'll have to watch that space for a couple of months now and see. But by later this year or early next year, things should bounce back to normal. So we'll have to wait there. And with online learning also, because we had started moving on to online teaching space from January itself. So the university had a long period of time to have a very smooth progression towards doing online learning. So that, and a Masters of Management course doesn't have offer any specialization, Yashita. It's a general management degree, which is offered for students from a non-management background. So it doesn't offer any specialization. It's a general degree. The duration of work permit is 2 years. That's been done. Yes, so I think we're good. If there are any other questions you guys want us to answer, please post it and we'll be happy to do that. Or you have our contact details, you can always reach out.
Right, Jeshri and Kajri. One question that is coming across to us is about the COVID situation in Australia and how University of Sydney is coping up with it. So probably you can throw some light on that.
I think University of Sydney and generally Australia has dealt with the COVID situation very well. All of us have seen that, in the recent few weeks, there have been some spikes in Melbourne, because of which the city has gone into a lockdown, and that has had some impact on other cities as well. But overall, I think the country has dealt with the situation in a very, very planned and mature way, which is also, kind of positive, because students who are planning to go for Australian universities in the months to come in 2021 will have a clear path worked out. You would have seen the the positive announcements that have been coming from government, whether it is concerning work rights or PSW, post-study work visa rights. A lot of changes have been made to accommodate students' interests, especially post-graduation students who go to Australia for pursuing short duration courses, let's say, which go on for 2 years. They are the ones who are impacted probably the most, because what if you study online? And you'd have seen that Australian government has actually announced that as long as you study in the campus for 92 weeks or 16 months minimum, you still qualify for PSW, which is great, because many students who would have started online this semester will still qualify for PSW, and they are not going to be left out. So next year we are hopeful. Obviously, it's a wait and watch, but I think as a country generally, Australia has taken cautious steps, and so keeping students' requirements in mind. I can speak for Sydney, for instance. We have now got our staff back in campus on 28th of July. Actually, we've slowly started coming back to campus. The 24th of August is when our semester is starting. The domestic students or students who are in Australia, international students included, will start coming back to the campus slowly and steadily. And so we are hoping and waiting for international students to be allowed to travel from across borders whenever that is possible, not just for Australia, but also for India to open up the skies to allow students to travel. So as far as Australia is concerned, it is very, very well geared up. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Kajri. Another question that I get a lot from students who want to apply to Australia is about funds. So what kind of funds they need to show at the time of application or visa, because a lot of university ask them to show funds.
So it's specific to university. So there's a process called as GTE, Genuine Temporary Entrant, which is where the universities would ask you to show financials. At University of Sydney, you need not show an application. Only when you apply for your visa, because you will pay first semester of fees as an acceptance deposit. And when you file for your visa, you will need to show the remaining one semester fee and living expenses for a year. But there is no other funding requirement. A lot of universities that ask funding during application are the lower ranked universities where the credit rating is less. So Australia has credit rated every university in Australia, and as per the credit rating, as per the visa success rate, and the ranking and the employability, the credit rating is higher. So with Sydney, we've not had any issue because we don't have, we hardly have 1 or 2 visa rejection in a whole year. That is like maximum. So we've not had, our credit rating is so high, our university ranking standard is so high, we've not had issue with funding and all of that.
Okay, great. Another question that some students ask is that, do you really need an agent to apply, or you can apply on your own to most of the universities?
Depends. Most of the universities you can apply online on their own as well. But if they want to take assistance of an education consultant, they can do so as well. So it's dependent on the student. Need their handholding, or if they want to do it on their own. If they want to apply directly, we have a team in India. Kajri and I are based in India, and we have a team of 6. So we can help the student understand what the whole process is all about.
Sure. And finally, in your experience, which are the two or three programs which are in demand, which are most popular for international students, where you would find maximum employment?
So Australia follows something called a skilled occupation list.
Right.
The high demand occupation list, published by the ministry every year. So it differs, or it changes as per the current market situation. But from University of Sydney, the popular courses are obviously architecture, or any courses under architecture faculty. They are very much in high demand. You can look in for masters in IT, information technology management, professional engineering, master of commerce. These are like the top 4 or 5 courses which have high placement opportunity.
Okay, thank you. So any last note from you or anybody who wants to ask more questions. So probably you can just gauge the chat list again. And if you feel you want to end with some note, you can let us know.
So I think we've answered most of the queries. So we have put in our contact details. Unfortunately, the credit rating of the universities are not open to public. The High Commission had provisions of introducing that on the website, but then because of COVID, I think it's pushed back a bit. So yes, you will not have access to that. So yes, so we've answered most of the questions. Australia is growing as a very popular destination from times to come now. I mean, earlier it was always the traditional destination like UK and US. Now students are looking beyond possibilities as well, because Australia being a land of immigration, opportunities available and not too far away from India, and a very safe location, safe destination, has excellent opportunities. The cost of living is not high, the standard of living is much better, so students opt for the same. I mean, what do you look for at a university is the ranking, the courses, what is the employability rate, and with Sydney, all the check boxes are ticked. So yes, guys, feel free to research on the course option, on the country option. We are, in this age of technology, we are not sticking to the traditional options only. So yes, if you have any queries, feel free to reach out to Kajri or me, and you have a contact details, email ID, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you so much. So this was a wonderful session. So attendees or participants, if you want us to reach out, if your questions are not answered, or if you want us to call you or help you with applications, you can also leave your number and name on the chat window, and we will get back to you whatever about your questions about studying in Australia. So thank you everyone for taking out the time. It's been a wonderful session, and thank you especially Kajri and Jayashree for answering all the questions very patiently. And happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have
Bye.
a good day.